Welcome everyone. My name is Alessandro Ruggera. I'm the director of the Istituto Italiano di Cultura. It's a great pleasure to be here again and broadcasting from Toronto this new installment of a series that goes back for at least 3 years of this collaboration that the Istituto has set up with the BOCCONI alumni. I'm very happy that again with Paola Floris, who is the leader of the Toronto chapter of BOCCONI alumni, we've been able to set up another series of 3 webinars. This is the first, and today we have with us Alberto Marrassini, from CEO of COOP Italia, and Ivo Petroff, who is the senior category manager of Walmart Canada, and Matteo Picariello from the Italian trade agency, ICE, Agenzia in Toronto as well. As I said, this is the first of a series of 3. The next one will be on October 26th, and it will be with Matteo with Matteo Zoppas, member of the board of Mineral Water San Benedetto SPA. And then on November 16, 2020, we will have Matteo Lunelli, president and managing director of Cantina Ferrari, from Ferrari Trento, Spumante producers, famous all over the world. So we are back to business, let's say, after having 3 webinars in June that were more focusing on culture and managing styles and so on. So really happy. I don't want to take too much time. I'm really glad that I can pass the floor to Paola Floris. I just would like to remind you that you can use the Q&A tool that you find at the bottom of your screens to participate in the conversation that we will have at the end. So we'll have Paola now, and then Matteo, and after Alberto Marrassini and Ivo Petroff, that I'm really happy to welcome virtually here at the Istituto. Thank you very much. And Paola, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro, and thank you to the Istituto Italiano di Cultura in Toronto for hosting us this time again. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone in the world. For those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Paola Floris. I am the leader of the BOCCONI alumni community in Toronto, and I welcome all of you to this webinar. This is the first in the fall, as Alessandro explained a few minutes ago. And today we start with a wonderful business event about the partnership created with the support of the Italian trade agency between Walmart Canada and COOP Italia, among the largest retailers, respectively in Canada and in Italy. This partnership allows the efficient access of small and medium-sized authentic Italian food manufacturers to large-scale global markets like Canada. And now let us introduce a bit the speakers. So we will start with Matteo Picariello, who is the Italian Trade Commissioner to Canada and the head of the Italian Trade Agency offices in Toronto and Montreal. Prior to leading the Italian Trade Commission agency in Canada, he served in the United States, in Australia, and in New Zealand. Alberto Marrassini has been part of COOP Italia for over 20 years. Since last year, he has been the CEO of COOP Italian Food North America. And before this role, Alberto worked a lot of years in Asia. Ivo Petroff started his career in Europe, where he had several roles in major retailers like Kaufland and Lidl. And since 2016, he has been the senior category manager for grocery in Walmart Canada. So without any further ado, let us enjoy this session together today. Thank you. And Matteo, please, you are the first to start. Thank you, everyone.
Grazie, Paola. Grazie, Alessandro. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and thank you for attending this webinar. So it's also a pleasure to meet on the video once again my friends Ivo and Alberto. So Italian Trade Agency is a government agency, and our role is to promote and support Italian exports all over the world. So we have, as Paola just reminded us all, 2 offices here in Canada. And of course, when we talk about Italy, food is always one of the first topics that comes up to mind to everybody. But before we start talking to food, I always want to remember that even in Canada, food is not our first item that we sell in Canada. So food accounts for more or less 18% of the total export, Italian export to Canada, because machinery, 30% is always like what Italy, and is a less known fact. But now let's focus to food. So before presenting this fantastic partnership between one of the biggest retailer in the world, Walmart, and one of the biggest retailer in Italy, COOP, I just want to give you some numbers so we can put in a context their partnership. So as I said, Italy exports in Canada, 20% of Italian export to Canada is made by food. And you should consider that overall in the world, the Italian export in agro-food account for more or less 40 billion euro. And the first market for us is Germany. Second market with 4 billion is the United States of America. So United States of America accounts for more or less 10% of our total exports. Canada is ranking number 10, so it's a very good and important market for us, and is the second not EU market after US for our Italian exports. So in Canada, Italian exports account for more or less 1.2 billion euro. And if we see this number from the Canadian perspective, we should consider that Canada imports from all over the world 50 billion Canadian dollar. And of course, US is the first market. So US account for a 50% share of this volume. Second is Mexico for 6%. Then we have China and Italy with a quota of 3%. So Italy is the fourth supplier of Canada when it comes to food, is the first supplier among all the EU countries. But when we see this number, we should consider that all this amount of products that comes to Canada goes more or less 60% to the big retail chain and 40% to the small independent or the restaurant or all the other channels. And I remember when we signed, before moving to Canada, I was in US. And when we first signed a deal with Walmart US, we went there, we did a great presentation. We presented with proud all the numbers we do in US. And I was really surprised because looking at the faces, I could see that there was something strange. And at the end, they asked me, but why you are selling so little in America? So why it's only $4 billion? So this is like this misconception. So for us, it was a lot. And for Walmart is, what's wrong with you? And of course, we have a system which is made, as everybody knows, small and medium-sized companies. So we don't have the power. We have few players who are able to invest a lot of money in advertising, in promotion, in the distribution channel. So this is the first reason. But there are two additional reasons that goes more into the reason of this partnership. The first one is what we call Italian sounding. And Alberto will say, and he has few slides to better explain this. So Italian sounding means every product which has an Italian name that people often buy thinking is Italian and is not. Maybe is a Italian cheese made in Wisconsin or something like this. So this misconception, miseducation, and miscommunication among our products, Italians think is taking a lot of a share we should deserve. And the second point is the distribution channel. So the Italian food up to now was mostly directed to the restaurants, the HoReCa sector, or the small independent chains. So the big players have a very small assortments of Italian goods for a number of reasons, because they are considered niche, they are considered very to ethnic food, and so on. So as ITA, we decided a few years ago to change our strategy and to do two main projects. One is communication. So we launched a number of campaigns in order to kind of educate or make give awareness to people about what is authentic Italian compared to what is Italian sounding. And it is not easy, because unless you really turn the label and you look for product of Italy, we don't have a big official sign which says Italian product. So everybody can put a flag or anything like that. and pretend to be Italian. And the second one, to try to encourage and support the Italian companies entering into the grocery big chain and distribution system. So we signed a number of deals with a number of groceries here in Canada, in America, and also in other countries. And one of the big problems is that when buyers, and he will say, so it was one of the people experimenting these hiccups, we invite them to trade show in Italy, they find fantastic companies, fantastic products, and then it takes problems because they don't have safety and regulation updated for exporting to the country. And then they have problems with putting the right labeling. Sometimes there is production timing problems. So it's plus all the logistic group. So it's a lot. This what every buyer we bring to Italy is raised kind of the same issues. So when we saw the agreement between one of the big player, which is COOP, that can solve all this issue with one of the biggest name, which is Walmart Canada, we were really enthusiastic about this, and we joined forces, if I can say so, in order to support their promotion. So just to give you my last minute is what we export in Canada. So number one is olive oil. Number two is cheese. Thanks to CETA agreement now, when the amount of cheese that we can bring in the country is raising up every year. 3 is pasta, and 4 is coffee. So for these categories, Italy has a ranking as number 1 export to Canada up to number 3, because coffee we have Switzerland with Nescafé, which is also playing a big role. But what is it most importantly also is like we did a study with Nielsen in order to understand what is the potential for the authentic Italian compared to the sounding or compared to the mainstream. So mainstream is every product like a pasta package which has no link with Italy, even if it's a pasta. So, and we discovered, so they did an analysis on the sales data. That was last March, so just when the COVID started to affect the grocery sector. We saw that the authentic has a market share of 7%, sounding 27%, and mainstream 65%. So you can understand which is the potential that our products can still grow in the country. And also when we see the sales data, authentic was growing 16% against a mainstream growing 2%. So we hope that thanks to this new agreement, this data will keep growing, and we will do everything we can in order to support Italian authentic product sales. So go to Walmart, look for the Fiore product or any other product, and enjoy Italian products. Thank you very much, and I leave a microphone to the next speaker.
Thank you very much, Matteo, and thank you everyone to making this happen today. We are very excited to share our experience. I hope you can see my screen. So basically what we are addressing here with this project is the biggest problem we have today, like Matteo was saying, is that Italian food is not well represented in the North American retail market. So it seems like one of the most famous food in the world does not have a solid presence on the shelves of the retailers. Actually, what Matteo was saying, the Italian sounding phenomenon, which is over 80% of the products that you can find on the market today. So first of all, there is a problem of presence. The large majority of the products are not made in Italy. They sound Italian, but they're not made in Italy. The other problem is that for the one who can make it, there is an inconsistent supply. Except for some established brands that you find, some pasta brands, some chocolate, maybe some tomato brands. There are a lot of products that you find one day, and then the day after you don't find anymore. So inconsistency of supply is another of the problems that you are facing. And the other factor is pricing. We can see that most of the products are priced on a very entry mainstream segment, often poor in quality. On the other side of the spectrum, you have more premium products, I would say medium, and also some good products, but very highly priced. So the first question that we had here is, where are the good products with good prices on the market? And if you look at this picture here, let's see if I can share. If you look at this image that represents pasta sauces, which is a very crowded segment in the market, you can see on the left the picture from different retailers in the US market. Most of them are made in US. Only few of them are produced in Italy. And if you go up in the upper part of the assortment here, ironically, it looks that there is a better representation of restaurants of New York and Little Italy rather than Italy itself. No? And I think this is because, like Matteo was saying, we have a very fragmented production base of producers, mostly small, medium-sized producers, who really struggle to reach the market. There are several issues, supply chain problems, legal problems, but also layer of costs that they face, distributors, brokers, importers. So when they reach the market, they cannot do it with competitive prices, and they cannot do it in a sustainable way. So basically, this is the mission of our project, bringing more suppliers to the market, bringing a consistent wide range of product to the market with an affordable price. I think that what is missing here is more of an infrastructure. We're missing a platform. And luckily with COOP, we do have a platform because, as you know, COOP is one of the largest Italian retailer and is probably the first retailer in the market, being there for over 160 years now. They have more than 1,000 stores and around 13 billion euro turnover. And it's a consumer cooperative where 8 million members are actually owning the company. But most importantly, for what concerns our project, COOP has the highest market share of private label in the market. And they're producing private label for over 70 years now, more than 5,000 products. They have more than 5,000 products in their range. So they have a very long established network of suppliers and the product development team. So the line that we are bringing here is the Fiore line, which is the premium line of COOP. And one of the things that it makes these products, I would say, consumer-centric, which is one of the key of our project, is that our products are approved by our members. So the owners of the company, the members of COOP, are the one who approve the products. If you look at the label on the COOP products, it's written behind, approved by the members. That means that COOP could develop a product for 2 years, but before launching into the market, the consumers, members, they need to approve it. This obviously puts a lot of pressure on the product development team. And this team is not only focused on internal metrics, but also very much focused on the final consumers. And this is a big difference because in this way, we are not just an importer, but we are actively participating to the product development. And this makes our product better, more reliable, and with many years of experience. So, and that's the formula of the collaboration we are bringing with Walmart. So basically, we are bringing premium products on the market with competitive prices, which is also the mission that Fiore has in Italy. If you think about Fiore products are premium price with premium products with affordable prices. So very much customer focus, putting together the best suppliers in the industry. But also, and this is one of the value that brings, let's say, add value to the collaboration, we are retailers ourselves. We have roots in retail. And so we understand the pain of another retailer and we work together to solve problems, to make it more efficient, to work on the packaging, to make it more sustainable and more workable in the stores. And this is also another piece of the partnership that works better with, works well with Walmart. On the marketing side, we use digital marketing to drive traffic to the stores where our products are displayed. So that's in a nutshell how our collaboration with Walmart is working. I would say that because we are launching this is a challenger brand, as we can say, because it's a new brand on the market. And this model is shaped around some macro shifts happening on the market. First of all, margin erosion. Every retailer today is experiencing decrease in the operating income, mostly triggered by online competition. So having a lean model, we are able to keep the price down and to bring more margin to our partner. That's one point that we can offer to the. Also, there is a reduced brand loyalty. New generations are less likely to be attached to traditional brands, and they are more likely to try new brands, and often they think that the new brands are better than the old brands. And if you see in the last 5 years, if you see the numbers, there is a nice research from Nielsen showing that the private brands are growing 4 times more than the national brands in the past few years. And the authenticity is also one of the segments that is growing, like Matteo was mentioning before. So we are in a good shape, to bring this model to the market. On the other side, we have an advantage with the social media, because now when we want to buy a product, what do? We go online, we check the review on the products, we check how the product is. So social media really works better than the traditional advertising. So in here we have a way with not investing, let's say, the same money that we would have invested with the traditional advertising, but still letting people know about our brand. So these are the 3 main shifts happening in the market that are helping our model to grow. I would say that there is also another one that is based on the healthy food. There is more, let's say, increasing attitude for the consumers to use healthy food. Obviously, Italian food is a healthy food. It's linked to the Mediterranean diet. So that's also another let's say, point that is adding to our project, I would say. Talking about social media, that's very interesting, because the efficiency of spending of social media is much, much higher and more efficient than the traditional advertising. If you look in this example, for example, if I want to reach around 1,000 people with a magazine, that is a traditional way, I would spend around $20 per 1,000 people. With Facebook, we spend 20 cents for 1,000 people. And those people, for example, this is an example, with $100, we reach 50,000 people. Those 50,000 people, they're all interested in food, and they're all in Canada. So in this way, it's very efficient to let the people know about our brand. And this is an advantage that we are using to let our brand, be known by the consumers. So all our resources in marketing are going mostly on digital marketing. And the content is part of our digital strategy. Obviously, we want to talk about products and recipe. We are not the first one talking about recipe, but we think that recipe are a great way to educate people on how to use the products. Luckily, Italian food is, we can say, is a simple food. Is a food based on the quality of the ingredients, as opposed, for example, to the French food, which is based on technical preparation. Italian food, it's easy to prepare. If you have good ingredients, you have a good meal. So we are explaining on our social media how to prepare products. The other part that we are covering is the authenticity part. We want to educate our consumers what authenticity means. Like Matteo said, it's not enough to put a flag. We want to explain what is behind our products. And to do this, we have just started a new series, let's say, of interviews with our producers, just launched now on our YouTube channel, where we let our producer speak, and they can explain how they do things, how they work. We are not hiding who our producers are. We are not producers ourselves. We work with producers, and we work together with them. And so I hope you can watch some of them. It's very interesting, and you can see the way they work, and we are happy to promote them. We are happy to have them reach the market. The other part, of course, is a cultural connection that food has with the culture of Italy. So every region of Italy has their own specificity, and we help to bring this specificity to the consumers. So we hope we can become also cultural ambassador of the products that we are selling. So that's, let's say, these are the three pillars of our digital strategy. So just to wrap it up before giving the stage to Ivo, what are we bringing with this model? For the consumers, we are bringing a really customer-centric, authentic, premium products, but with good price, which is totally missing in the market today. So we are covering this, we are filling this void with a very wide and consistent range. For retailers, I think we bring long-term differentiation, customer retention. We are helping to drive traffic to the stores. For the producers, we offer a platform through which they can access the market. And I like to think that we're also doing something for the Italian food culture through our educational content, letting people know what Italian food really means. So this is just to summarize, what our project is. And now I want to give the mic to Ivo. Ivo is a retail professional and can give you more insights from the retailer point of view about the project. Ivo?
Thank you very much, Alberto. Thank you everyone for hosting us, and the BOCCONI alumni, Paola, and of course, just one word to what also Matteo mentioned. Currently, apparently, Italy is food is second ranking, 18%. Well, guys, if we keep going like that, it's quite possible we'll turn this trend around and make food the biggest Italian import into Canada within next years. Can we do it? So, my presentation, couple of words. First, I would like to share with you some specific technical aspects with regards to the strategy and how we are approaching this entire project. But I would like also, considering the academic audience of BOCCONI alumni, to get a little bit of academic twist, really to share a bit more of the bigger meaning around this project and the mission and the values behind it. Because my strong belief is that even the most professional business model, if there is no really belief in it, if there is no values behind it, it will be short-lived. Sooner or later, it would just get replaced by something else. And what we do here is, I strongly believe, something that's related to really deep values ingrained on both sides in what we believe. Namely, it's Italian food, and specifically Coop Italia being century-old retailer in Italy with deep roots within the Italy food industry, and Walmart being the biggest player in North America in the retail market, where offering the lowest affordable food is our mission: save money, live better. So this is really something that comes together in a great synergy, and I believe we started something that has tremendous future. But again, let's do everything step by step. First, what exactly are we talking about? Besides everything that has been all shared so far, I believe we make a substantial innovation approach to what is label, what is brand, what is private label product, and what is private brand. Long story short, for those of you that are not so much familiar with the subject matter, as you know, most retailers, they have all the national brands, all the names that we know ever since we were kids. And of course, there are the pool of private labels that almost every retailer have on their shelves. This is really the dominant set that we can discover out there on the market. What we do here is basically we develop a hybrid model. We develop something that takes the best out of both worlds. The best out of the branded world of all of those established, recognizable brands, and the best of private label. What does it mean is basically that the flexibility, the customer focus, the control, and the transparency of private label, we have it. Me as a category manager, I have also direct access to even the smaller, medium-sized manufacturer back in Italy when I need to. Of course, we have such a fast channel of communication through Alberto and the entire system that we are building, that really the customer feedback can reach the final manufacturer really within minutes. Because I'm in the store, I take a picture of something that I don't like, some packaging detail, some sealing or anything. The picture arrives in the inbox of my manufacturer and Alberto within minutes. And usually if they're not asleep, which they rarely are, I also get immediately some response and feedback. Examples for this are endless, and we keep working on that. It's important to showcase the model. As you can understand, we also established a brand equity. Fior is something that stands for quality and for authentic Italian. And we also want to label it as something that everybody can afford, something that can be affordable to every Canadian. This is really our mission. So you understand how the branded world and the private label come together into this project and really bring things to the next level. Of course, there are many other aspects of really how we play the merchandising, the marketing side, how we take the best out of the possibility of being flexible and not being relatively limited when being private label. So really, and then sky is the limit, because we invent a lot of approaches, a lot of best practices, and many of those things are even still about to come, because we keep discovering different things as we go, find partners, work with different strategies. So this is the beauty, something that the traditional brand management is not so open, specifically when it comes to customer and retailer. And this is the beauty of this, that we can impact and navigate the way we understand customer centricity. Next slide, slide 3, please. How this materializes in an efficient way. Alberto already alluded into this topic, which is absolutely one of the major assets and advantages of this project. On the left side of the screen, you can see the traditional importer models. This is really one or maybe few manufacturers at the country of origin in Italy. They get distributors. Distributor maybe gets some products, some they don't. And the entire inconsistency becomes a serious obstacle, especially when it comes to smaller and medium-sized companies. Very often we're talking about family businesses. And those organizations, it's difficult to handle the challenges of a large-scale overseas business. And sometimes even the complexity, you can see how many different stages there are. There are first the different manufacturers with different channels of distribution and import. Once they land in the country of sale, which in this case we're talking about Canada, then there is the distributor that starts, that's probably representing many different brands, and it's very difficult to get the authentic appeal and authentic messages that actually are ingrained into the very beginning of this product. Then you have knocking at different doors to find the final customer of the product. And then you can understand how everything gets distracted. And of course, there is a lot of layers of inefficiency and cost, not to miss this very important component. The quality consistency is another challenge when it comes to also smaller companies to meet the requirements, the labeling standards, and all the compliance related to getting to a different market. On the other hand, on the right-hand side of our screens, you can see what we are building with our partners from COOP Italia. This is basically one platform that can consolidate, that can manage all the vendor relationships right at the bottom, where they used to have them for more than a century. They used to develop these partnerships and knowledge of the market that barely anybody can have. Not because nobody wants or nobody has the expertise, just a matter of time, a matter of resources, and a matter of establishment. And this together with the logistics resources of a large organization, which is COOP Italia, brings actually to the scene a very efficient model so that you can switch vendor. You have extremely consistent quality standards, just like this is a common practice within every recognized large retail organization nowadays. And those quality standards basically secure to me and my final customer the consistency of quality and product standards. This is extremely important because if I used to get brand A, B, or C, then you have always the risk of switching and changing, and then the disruption. One example, during the pandemic, One of our products, manufacturer got acquired by a company, couldn't continue delivering, immediately was replaced by another manufacturer without any hiccups or disruption of my supply. So this way, basically, I was able to deliver to my final customer without any out of stocks, although some situation like this in a normal circumstances would cause substantial disruption. Well, this is the scale of the organization and their capability to handle the business at the very basic level at the country of production. Then, of course, you have the platform of logistics, where we have all the efficiencies of large-scale imports, because if we have a small oil manufacturer, and this is another very interesting story. I used to work with a brand, small oils brand in Italy, even before we shook hands with COOP Italia. I couldn't make them import their oils to me at price that would make sense. Just because one single smaller manufacturer with their 5-10 SKUs, very difficult to get them at the final country where I'm selling the product to my final customer and still be affordable and still be something that I can scale and can really generate volumes. Well, once we have all of these different vendors in the umbrella of Fiore, now pretty much everybody can be participating in the show in a very sustainable, in a very affordable way, in a way that delivers the quality consistent, the standards, while at the same time, we continue building the brand equity that basically stands for this quality and for this consistency. So again, this is also referring back to the previous slide that I indicated the benefits of both worlds. Well, this is that basically empowers this new model and this new approach to brand and brand development. So Alberto, the next slide, please. Very quick overview. Of course, we're talking about platform that basically can accommodate any kind of product. And this is the beauty and the flexibility. Already, even before we went into year 2, which is like we started the project, I think, good 10, 12 months ago, we already have some products delisted. We have new listings. And this is the beauty of the dynamic model that we are operating, because some products perform, some products are still in a process of getting understood by the customer, very specific. And this is the beauty. I'm not stuck with anything. I just communicate, we adjust the imports, deplete whatever is there, and then already go into the next endeavor. And the flexibility is also another beautiful aspect of the project. And of course, we started the journey with pasta and pasta sauces. We just launched extremely unique line of small flavored oils, vinegars. The baking segment, we have flours introduced just now for Thanksgiving bake mixes, and also developed the natural yeast for the Canadian market, and various other categories. Again, this is work in progress of exploration and development. The message here is really the wide range, the freedom of choice, and the safety, delivering at efficient and affordable prices for our final customers. Alberto, if you can move in. Yeah, this is just a model of our merchandising and great example of this partnership approach. Basically, once we started developing the first range, this is how the project started, as I indicated, with pesto, pasta sauces, and pasta. We basically developed shelf-ready packaging, which is matching the dimensions of our shelves. This way, we can optimize the shelf space. And these are all the technicalities around managing efficient business. You understand that this is something that's very typical for a private label, but more uneasy to get a big brand that's delivering entire market and maybe entire world to tailor something to your specific needs. And this is what I need, because I don't want to lose shelf space at the back just because my box is not taking the whole spot on shelf. And this way we can have the entire cycle of replenishment, ordering, fulfilling, optimized, which is another aspect that helps us maintain our affordable prices in a sustainable way, not with eating losses or creating pressure along the entire chain. These are the small aspects of the customer centricity that really establish this new approach to business. And of course, not to mention the entire the innovative approach of QR codes that we are adding in front of every, at the front of every case, where every customer can just scan with their cell phone and easily read the entire story and the origin of the product and the small business that's behind it, and the recipes and the entire world that we're developing as a digital project. Important to mention, with the very strong support of the Italian Trade Agency and Matteo and his team, because this is really the joint collaborative teamwork where, again, back to the name of our presentation, collaborate versus compete. What we do now and what I'm sharing and what Alberto shared is really the values of collaborating versus the value of pure competition. Nowadays, working in a silo becomes less efficient and, of course, less profitable, as opposed to collaborating. But we'll get to this topic in one of the following slides. Next, please, Alberto. Thank you. And this is exactly the topic that I'm talking about. Competitive advantage, the platform model of the future. This is the difference that we are making with this model. Once again, authentic product that's being made affordable by also allowing a small and medium-sized manufacturers to become participants in global trade. This is really the most beautiful part, because this is great message that we're sending out there. We make something affordable, something that has been historically blamed as a major disadvantage of the global economic system, generally speaking. We basically are able to flip things around in a way that we basically move away from the risks of putting to risk the market economy, because, you know, there are many critics about this existing model, critics of the globalization. Well, actually, globalization is not supposed to be a threat to small businesses. It could be a huge opportunity if the right frameworks are being created. And this is what we are working on right now. Again, far from the idea that we're at the end of this journey, exactly the opposite. We are just starting it. And we are building it on a very sustainable basis that can allow for future growth. That means we have a competitive model. We're really operating on affordable, acceptable, but reasonable margins. We are not entering into cutthroat approach of crazy promotions where basically keep drilling and keep cutting everybody's life around crazy prices. No, we offer something that's friendly, that's affordable, and that really creates value and increases the basket. So this, of course, includes the customer-centric approach, the brand recognition, the efficiency, the premium made affordable. All of these different things we bring together and create this product. This product means this model and this new approach to business. Collaborate versus compete. And then with the next slide, Alberto, thank you very much. Here you can see a scheme that basically brings the whole project to a little bit different level. And this is the more, if I can call it, academic approach without pretending to be a pure academic. But really, this is what is behind it. This is really bringing functionality, operational advantages, and values all together in one project. This is in the country of origin, for example, in Italy, resources of leading retail infrastructure, consolidation, established supply network, product development, everything together on one hand. On the other hand, in Canada, Walmart is one of the largest and most capable retail organizations on the market. We have the resources of access. We have the resources of the entire distribution and logistical network that can make this thing happen. This is also when bringing those two assets together in a collaborative approach, you understand that this creates value. This is not eating value. This is the positive approach to business that basically adds. And speaking of adding value, this is not only in strictly commercial terms, which of course, this is the major driver and the metrics that we are operating for all of us in the corporate world. But there is something even bigger than that. And this is creating a universal platform that enables efficient participation of medium and small-sized food producers in the global trade. This is introducing the model of balance. It's one of the core values in a new regenerative economy. And maybe here again, I don't want to confuse you with many different terminologies, but really what we are establishing is alternative option. where we are contributing to a balanced environment. Because you understand, if you have a forest with just a lion, the lion would eat itself sooner or later. You need the bear, you need the wolf, you need the fox, you need the entire ecosystem. And this is the balance. The balance in nature is equally important as the balance in our world, in the economy, and of course in the retail world as well. So this is the balance that we introduce as a model, where we make it possible for small operators to join the global trade in a way that's possible, affordable, and efficient. And this, again, brings this alternative values to the market that basically create this sustainability. And this is the regenerative approach that regenerates, just like the nature is regenerating generation after generation. This is the corporate interpretation of this model, where we, as powerful retail organizations, COOP Italy, Walmart in Canada, we can reimagine this environment and reimagine it in a way without destroying anything existing, but building on top of it. And this is, again, the most beautiful part, and the values and the mission behind it. So everyone, when you come to Walmart and reach out to buy your next Fiore product, think about it. Think about this type of sustainability in terms of socio-political aspects that just drive our societies ahead and getting things developed to the next level. Can we just see the next slide, Alberto? And then this is my favorite example. Those of you who are familiar with the retail world, you know, there are major retail organizations, players. Tesco is the icon of the United Kingdom and the English ambassador. Ahold Delhaize is the Dutch-Belgian organization. Carrefour is the French largest retailer. And of course, Germany, not to mention, with Lidl, Aldi, and the different large retailers. All of these retailers are associated with one geography, with a country, and they're becoming their ambassador around the world. Italy, having the richest food culture around the world and most famous food culture, actually still don't really have the authentic, consolidated, well-representative and consistent representation. So my belief, my ambitious belief, is that what we're building here can become an answer to what you're seeing now on the screen, where we can build this sustainable model that delivers not only efficient profit and efficient business model from strictly corporate perspective, but also delivers really a different way of doing business, different approach that, in my belief, this is really the way of doing business tomorrow. Everything that we keep learning and all of those sustainable approaches and regenerative approaches, this is the future, and this is ingrained in our model. Just because, finishing my, if I can call it, short presentation, just because this is ingrained into the approach of collaborate versus compete. Thank you very much, Alberto. And this is the end. If I don't know how we proceed now, maybe Paola?
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you very much, Ivo. Thank you very much, Alberto.
Pleasure.
Really inspiring. And Livio, thank you very much for the good amount of optimism and positive look toward the future. It's really, I mean, given the situation we are in currently, it's really great to hear you speaking with such passion about the project that you are managing with Alberto and with the support of the Italian Trade Commission and with Matteo. Yeah, it's really inspiring, and many questions. I'll have a couple, and to me, one that, of course, I mean, it's probably the first question is, what about current situation and online trading, online e-commerce, referring to your project? I mean, this is, I guess, I mean, everybody's shopping online more and more. So how are you responding to this aspect? To the both of you, of course. And
since I'm selling, then probably I should start, because I'm the one selling here in Canada. Alberto is the one that makes everything happen. And of course, we, as being a leading retailer, we have a very solid online strategy. But specifically speaking about our project, we first make sure everything is accessible online. And here we have the great partnership, because this is also a technical project process. To get something listed online, available online, there is requirements about images, requirements about content. It's really like business on its own. And the solid, capable partner that's also experienced within this area is essential, which means we have all of our assortments also available on Walmart.ca, which is great access to the entire portfolio. And second, of course, speaking about digital in general, we have an exceptional, again, I want to believe one of the best on the market, just to be seen strategy about digitally promoting and digitally having the entire richness of this assortment showcased to the broader audience, starting with social media. And here, of course, Matteo's role is very important to mention, where we got substantial support from the Italian trade agency to make this thing possible, because end of the day, everything now is being liberalized. You don't have the billion-dollar budgets of large corporations that dominate everything. I can do a posting and all of a sudden wake up next day and have thousands and thousands of followers. So this is what we are trying to do, something between crowdsourcing, between shared economy, and really this omni-channel approach, where we have, of course, the strict technical standards of a large retail organization and the capabilities of being able to handle this omni-channel. And on the other hand, we have a very free, flexible approach to developing general digital strategies. Again, we have a Fiore website with links to Walmart.ca. We have sites on Facebook and Instagram. We have content with actual videos from some of those really beautiful, nice, small businesses. I have the flower guy running through his facility. We have this beautiful lady with her vineyard, and then where they produce all of the vinegars. So this is coming together as a total omni-channel strategy that really gets you into this. Once you get into Instagram, you can click and then you get the link, and the link takes you to Walmart.ca, and then the ordering, and then the fulfillment. So this is all connected together. So this is my part. Alberto definitely can add more on that.
No, yeah, I was just saying that all the social media platforms are linked to the Walmart.ca. So whenever you watch our platforms on digital platforms, you are redirected to the online store. So we are selling in store and we are selling online.
We have a good amount of questions coming from our attendees and from the audience. So I will start from the first that came in, and was a question from Angelo. Could please emphasize which Italy-like brands are private label? I guess they're all private label. Italy-like. I mean, probably Italian soundings is meant in this question.
I would prefer, to be honest,
probably all.
Comment on other brands and other businesses. I would prefer to really focus on what we do and how we do it, because this is also what we are trying to showcase. Pointing fingers now, this is, again, education that we are providing with our digital resources should be indicative enough for people to navigate accordingly, to be able to understand authenticity and the meaning behind it.
Then we have another question from Amir that is I find it very interesting from my point of view, I mean, of the Istituto Italiano di Cultura. Thank you for the inspiring presentation. I was wondering, what's the role of Italian language in promoting or hindering the economic performance of Italian products abroad, in Canada specifically? Do you believe are customers aware of Italian language specificities, and can they be attracted by Italian words as signals of authenticity on label and packaging? Well, I guess
for sure there have been
studies made about on the use of Italian language as a tool to promote, or Italian words as a tool to promote. There are also some studies been made in North America regarding the presence of Italian in the linguistic landscape, let's say, on advertisings in general, brands, naming, and so on, that tend to show that there is an added value in using Italian. It's a sound that probably is somehow not only accepted, but supporting the sales. What is your point on this?
Obviously, the Italian sounding is appealing because it makes it sound like it's Italian, but there is also many misconceptions and misunderstandings on the language. So the language can be used also in a way to fool the consumers and to let them think that this is an Italian product. And also there are many products that are mispronounced by consumers. So now we are starting from next week, a new game, let's say, on our social media platform, where we ask to our consumers to pronounce the products and to pronounce some Italian words. So we want to educate them to pronounce the Italian words, especially related to food, in the correct way. One example, everybody, if you go to the US, they will say bruschetta instead of say bruschetta, right? This is just an example. So we are running this game now where we ask them, please try to pronounce your name, this word, and we will teach them how to do. So that's very interesting for sure to educate about the products that we are selling.
I wonder if Matteo also can elaborate on this. It has some hint on the use of Italian language in promoting.
I agree with Alberto. It's like a dual use. So it's very strong, but it can also be deceptive. So and also you need to be careful, because like when you go in a restaurant and you see an Italian menu full of errors, like some doubles missing, or it gives you a wrong, if you're able to spot it, it gives you already an indication that maybe there is something wrong about the authenticity of that place, even if can be just a genuine mistake. So I think that language is definitely a tool that must be used. And unfortunately, it's not copyrighted. So everybody can use an Italian word if it's a common name. So we cannot pretend that only authentic Italian can use Italian words. So that's where the tricky part of the communication is. And that's where we always suggest, beside the label, check the backside, because luckily, like Italy has a very clean and transparent legislation about the labeling. So when you see an Italian product, you can see where it's manufactured. If it's in Italy a private label, you can see exactly which factories are making that product, even if it's a no brand or someone else brand. So these are also, so stick to the language is the first approach, but go deeper and look at the label always.
There's a question regarding, this can be for Ivo probably. What is the added value for a consumer buying for Fior versus other Italian brands that have made their way into Canada successfully?
Well, the first answer is, of course, save money, live better. This is most affordable for the quality, for the high quality that we're offering, and not because I say so. Obviously, I'm biased. You ask Alberto, going to tell you the same thing, but no. Forget about us. The model that I described and the way of sourcing and channeling, it's really efficiencies that nobody else can have. Other Italian products are definitely, they're great products, no doubt about it. And I wish them all the best. But the thing is that it's usually silo business management. You have an importer A with covering distribution and import of brand A, B, C, D, but that's it. And then they need to do a grouping, a container, an import. It costs money, a warehousing. And if you do this on a larger scale, encompassing different ranges of products, and then if you have everything top to bottom to the very manufacturing level and planning the manufacturing, you can understand you have a totally different animal, totally different business model. So with that being said, my first answer, what is the difference? The difference is that you're getting exceptional, authentic quality at price that's unbeatable. That's really what's the biggest message. And then of course the authenticity of because there is no secret that smaller manufacturers that are family owned or cooperatives or farmers, they're usually non-chemical farming, they're usually non-GMO farming, and this is the case with almost all of our products. And this is also the benefit. The large corporate requires efficiency of scale of that we can't imagine. This is good for the scale, but really for the consumption of the quality of the product, which gains importance in today's customer's mindset, and the transparency and the access to information nowadays turns things around. We're there. We're offering something that's really authentic and quality that's on unbeatable price. That's the long story short, if I can answer the question in 2 words.
Very well. Alberto, would you like to add something on
Yes, I would like to add something on this because it's also related. It's related to the model that Ivo was explaining, but it's also related really to the quality of the products. And because I don't want to advertise the products, but that's the reality. Because those products are developed for the consumers and for the members of the cooperative in Italy, they have the highest standard. I give you an example. You take the pesto. There is no pesto in the market who uses the PDO basil. That is the original basil coming from Liguria. Our pesto is a PDO basil pesto. Just an example. You take the pasta that we sell to a cost that is below the one with the lower quality, but is with higher quality. It's bronze dyed, is dried in 24 hours rather than in 2 hours. So the quality of the product itself is better. So this is what they get. The consumers get a better quality for a lower price. This is what they're getting.
Somehow, what is also interesting in this collaboration is that it joins two sort of different approaches to retail. I mean, given the way that I mean, the origin of Coop in Italy. I don't know how many of our Canadian listeners or attendees are familiar with the history of Coop. I mean, with the origins of Coop as a group of cooperatives that joined forces in the 50s, in the 60s. Alberto, I'm not sure now. It's
I think, well, the cooperative model is already 150 years old, more than 150 years old, and Coop started already in 1850. So it's quite old, and then they have joined forces together. It's true that the basis is different compared to Walmart, but we have similarities in the approach to market, because what we're offering good products with low prices. Basically, this is the model that Coop offers, having good products with good prices every day. And this is also the claim that Walmart has: save money so that people can live better. So Walmart also offers products with low price. So in this case, we have a similarity of business model, in this case, of sales model. Ivo, what do you think about this?
Yeah, 100%. And then again, I indicated earlier, the beauty of the project is let me call it peaceful. That's not a project that attacks and aims to remove or destroy something existing on the market. No, because we don't go with crazy prices. We go with reasonable prices. Reasonable prices that are low for the quality being offered. But at the same time, this is not going to cause any havoc on the market. This is not going to cause disruption in terms of killing somebody or pushing somebody outside of the business. No, this is mostly incremental. And these are, as a matter of fact, also our first findings that we generate, we create market share, we create sales that not necessarily existed in this same way before. So this is the beauty of it, that we're not shooting anybody along the chain in order to being able to sustain something on a very competitive market. The market is still extremely competitive, and we are still trying to be the most competitive organization, but this is different way of being competitive. And this is, to me, the really sustainable part, that when we speak about the prices, when we speak about these more technical aspects of the business.
We have another question from Frank, again for you. This is more for you, Ivo. Is Walmart Canada going to enhance the Made in Italy aspect of the product? For example, signage in stores, shelf plates. Are you going to implement this aspect, or?
There's a lot of work in progress. There's a lot of things going on. Again, I'm probably not able to reveal everything now, but let's put it that way. We have a lot of support from our friends from Italian Trade Agency, and great understanding from COOP Italia and their resources. So there will be things happening. And again, just to be very specific, in store is, again, it's about online, digital presence, what you have in your pocket. Our cell phones are becoming extension of ourselves, extension of our brains. Once you get in the brain, who cares what's out there? Let me just give this answer.
Okay. Now we have a question. I think this will be the last one. And this is, I know the project doesn't involve wine, but we have a question on wine. We had another one before. And if May someone make a deeper mention regarding the wine market? It's not really to the, because I don't think Fior involves any wine.
Well, it does in Italy, it does, but I think there are restrictions in Canada regarding the wine. So I think we need to go through the.
Let's not comment this topic as of now, because again, it's highly regulated. There might be interesting topics down the road, but again, at that stage, I think premature to make any statements, but definitely to my also knowledge, COOP Italia are very well prepared to handle any kind of requests, put it that way.
Yeah, Ontario, Canada in general is very specific in the regulation on wine sellings, but maybe Matteo can say something about this, the component of wine in the Italian export to Canada, which is quite significant, I think.
No, I agree. Right now, rules and regulation don't, so 80% of the wine sales are through regulated stores, so like Monopoly and LCBO, SAQ and so on. Wine is still #1 item, Italian item sold in Canada. So if you account wine and food, wine has the majority of exports. So, and again, what is interesting is that we export proportionally more to Quebec than to Ontario. So like the English-speaking part of the country is more oriented when it comes to wine to New World wines, while Canadians from Quebec really are into Italy and France. So right now, even our strategy doesn't touch any retailer, any grocery. It's just working with a liquor board and online. So I think it's very premature to start that kind of direction.
Okay. Well, we have questions flocking in actually, but I think we are almost 1:10. Perhaps we can have one more question. And here we have question from Austin, Martin, and question for all of you. So Alberto, you mentioned it takes 2 years for testing a product. How do you shorten the length of time for testing?
Well, it depends on the product itself. Very much, because there are a variety of categories that require longer testing. Obviously, when we bring the product to the Canadian market, we need to do more testing, because we need, first of all, the product that we're bringing to Canada are the products that we are selling already in Italy. So those products have been developed together with the supplier for the Italian market. And when we bring them to the Canadian market, we need to be compliant with the Canadian regulation in terms of packaging and in terms of quality of the product. So but yeah, it may vary the time, but it may take even 2 years to develop a product. There are different phases of testing, and all the GMO part, it takes time to develop. Yes, it may take, like I said, it depends on the category, but it may take 2 years to develop a product. Okay. And I don't know actually the technicalities of how to shorten the way, but it's never a good idea. In my experience, when you try to shorten the way of testing a product, you have problems afterward. So better to keep the process as it should be.
Now one for Ivo. From a marketing point of view, what if you slowly reduce the national brands on the shelf, less facings of the national brands, and increase the private label, private brand, coupled with increased marketing to support growth of the product instead of the national.
Manager here. That's a specific question. Yeah. The approach is totally different. We're talking about optimization and really creating a statement, and it's not about squeezing here and there and stealing from somebody. We really drive the business in a way that makes sense for the customer. So optimization have started, and this is a strategy even before the project with COOP Italia, nothing to do with them. We really need to drive lean business in order to be competitive on the market. And Alberto can understand what I'm talking about, since they also represent a retail organization. So with that being said, looking this micro approach of, okay, what you need to take out in order to put something new in. Yes, this is end of the day what's happening, but there is a much more holistic approach. And the approach to this is really what is making a difference for the customer, what makes sense for the customer. So I'm managing my business just like my colleagues, is really not what we are told by organization A, B, or C outside of our office, but what we think is the best decision for our customer. So what we're developing now and the way it's been going so far, really this is a clear message that makes sense, that needs to be facing the customer in a way that makes a difference, from the statement in the purple colors of everything to all the digital strategies to the enlargement of the assortments in a way that really makes sense for the customer. Alberto knows I have no issue to get back to him and to the list items. I think we just recently delisted like 10, 12 SKUs. And this is the healthy approach to business. Nobody should be afraid of that. So that's why the very core of this question is totally different than what's on the surface. Who you taking out? I'm taking out the approach that's not customer centric. That's what I'm doing.
And then the last one to Matteo. One issue that was constantly brought up was regulations. What is being done to reduce red tape and support increased trade among the businesses?
I would say when it comes to regulation, there is not really much we can do. So like right now, EU speaks with only a single voice. So all trade issues are handled by the EU body. So it's not anymore a national negotiation. So now it's almost 3 years since the CETA agreement has been in place. So first of all, we saw the reduction of all the tariffs for most of the products, 99% of the products, so which is a very significant and important side. We had an increase of the quota for the cheeses. So before we had a limit very strict, now every year this limit grows up. When it comes to the regulation for the specific products, this process has not been implemented yet. Unfortunately, the CETA agreement is in place, but has not been fully ratified. So it's still on process going in Italy as in many other countries. And my guess is that until it will be fully ratified by all the EU countries, the working groups set for each specific group of products won't start working on a standardization of a regulation. So right now, like Canada can export to Italy or to Europe accordingly to EU regulation and vice versa. And the second step of the CETA, so the first one is reduction of the tariffs. The second one is getting closer with the regulation. So this process will take a long time, but right now it's truly a matter of a bit of money because it costs to be compliant, and timing, but there is nothing that even a small or medium-sized company cannot afford or cannot make it happen in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can come to wrap it up and come to a conclusion. I would like again to thank Alberto Marrassini from COOP Italia, Ivo Petroff, Walmart, Matteo Picariello from the Italian Trade Agency. I would also like to thank Gloria Di Folco, who behind the scenes is managing this webinar from the Istituto Italiano di Cultura. Without the staff of the Istituto, it would be not possible to have this series of webinars, so I'm always very thankful. And mostly when we had to move all our activities that we used to have in presence at the Istituto, and we've been able to move them with Paolo, to move them online. And here's a good example. We are now able to reach out to a broader audience probably, and also to involve speakers that are not locally based. So this is really, I think, an improvement. And nevertheless, we look forward to being back in presence and to meet our friends again at the Istituto. So Paola, the floor is yours if you want to have a few remarks to conclude, and thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paola.
Oh, yes, Alessandro, I want to join you in thanking the speakers. So thanks Alberto, Ivo, and Matteo. Of course, thanks to Gloria and you, Alessandro, that moderated these questions and answer sessions. So thanks a lot. And so stay tuned. We will be back on the 26th of October with another event on business. As Alessandro anticipated, we will have Matteo Zoppas, a board member of San Benedetto Mineral Water. So stay with us. I hope you enjoyed this session. I enjoyed it a lot. So have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.